Good morning, Ron, and good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, August 11th. Here's what's happening. Massachusetts has become the 11th state to allow abortion with no limits. Governor Maura Healey signed that bill yesterday. Prior to the new law, there were restrictions on abortions after 24 weeks of pregnancy. In a statement, Marjorie Dannenfelser, president of SBA Pro-Life America, called on Republicans to abandon the leave it to the states approach, saying, quote, without a minimum national standard, the United States remains one of only 8 countries worldwide that allows abortion at any point in pregnancy. The only entirely Christian village in the West Bank has become the subject of reoccurring attacks by Israeli settlers. Taba, known in the Bible as Ephraim, is home to Catholics and Orthodox Christians. Recently, the Israeli military has blockaded the town, but says they're only restricting movement for non-residents. Father Bashar Fawala of the Latin Rite parish of Christ the Redeemer told Vatican News that settlers have broken into homes of his parishioners and set fire to their lands. He called on the international community, including Pope Leo XIV, to have a presence in Taba to stop new settlements and occupation. Former CNN anchor Don Lemon is asking a federal judge to dismiss charges tied to his coverage of an anti-immigration enforcement protest. Lemon's attorneys argue the case is a vindictive prosecution and claims the Trump administration targeted him because of his journalism. Lemon was indicted on federal civil rights and conspiracy charges after he and protesters interrupted a church service in St. Paul, Minnesota, and he has pleaded not guilty. His lawyers say he was acting as a journalist covering the demonstration and that his actions were covered by the First Amendment. President Trump is signing an executive order focused on childhood vaccination schedules. Speaking from the White House, Trump said the order would split the childhood MMR vaccine, that's for measles, mumps, and rubella, into 3 shots. The order would also push for all childhood immunizations to be administered at special medical visits instead of one visit. COVID-19 and influenza vaccines are no longer being recommended for all young children. Trump mentioned the growing rates of autism in the U.S., and Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. indicated more research is underway to see if there is a connection between autism and increased vaccines or another, quote, environmental exposure. Multiple existing large cohort studies have not found a link between vaccines and autism. And the Trump administration is turning again to a century-old shipping law in effect to help keep fuel costs down. The White House announced a 90-day extension of the Jones Act waiver, allowing certain foreign flag ships to transport products between U.S. ports. The national average for a gallon of gas is $4.01, down from $4.09 last week. I'm Matthew Handley and Ron Finn. That is the news this morning.